Hey, it's Sarah back here with Evolve assignment number 6 from block 3, and just saw a couple photos of my still life setup, and then I did a sketch of it to just do a thumbnail and then kind of get the proportions right and then transfer it to canvas. And then we're filling in, as always, shadows first and then colors. So I decided to go with a kind of, I guess this would be a Christmas style cup with an orange and a red butterfly because for some reason they just work together thematically for me. I actually had the cup first, and then I thought, this cup looks a little plain, we need to dress it up a bit. So put a butterfly, taped a butterfly on the handle, and then I was like, I think we still need something else. So I thought a round fruit and came up with an orange. And that gives us a nice combination of colors, and then also throwing the sky blue paper in the background. So we've got blues, we've got greens, we've got reds, we've got oranges, and the tabletop, which is kind of like a purplish brownish black. Anyways, so that was the thinking behind the still life. Actually, the still life portion of block 3 tends to be the most interesting, but also the most time consuming. Like, this painting took me a total of 9+ hours, including all the sketching, the setup, the cleanup, and the painting process itself. And I did it over the course of 2 days. Well, I did the drawing on day 1, and then I did the painting on day 2. And because setting up the still life takes time and thought. I actually had to think about what objects I wanted and then put it in the box, turn on the light, try the light from the left and the right, and then kind of arrange the different objects in various configurations until I thought, okay, this is good enough. And then, of course, there's a proportional drawing. I think when I submitted the assignment, the instructors gave me the feedback that the butterfly might be still a little bit too complex at this stage of learning, so I probably pushed myself a little too hard. But oh well, sometimes you have to cross the line a little bit and then be brought back, which is fine with me. So next time I think I'm going to try to shoot for a still life setup that's a little simpler, maybe not so many colors, and the fine detail is also really tricky on the cup, that leaf, the veins on the leaf, and then also the butterflies, the shapes and angles. I ended up taking 20+ different measurements just to try to get the drawing correct, and even then there's still some areas definitely that are imperfect and need improvement. Anyways, so for this one I decided to take a little bit more time with the color mixing, and I also tried to directly match the colors to the live objects. I think last time I didn't do that. I was checking it against the phone, I believe, which is incorrect because the phone screen changes the color of the object. So it's better to just compare it to the live object. But then I had another problem, which is when I took the sample photo that you saw at the very beginning of this video, which is also something that I submit with the assignment, the colors were not exactly right. And I know that I could have tuned it a little bit, which I tried to do on the phone, but it's still, the bottom, the tabletop, was lighter in the photo than it seemed in real life. So I'll have to figure out how to get a more accurate photo in the future. Maybe try a different device or different something. Well, I'll think about it. Anyways, yeah, so for the butterfly, for the reds, I just try every color that I can. So for the reds, you could see that I mixed the different reds, and then I was like, okay, this red is a little too red. Let's try putting in something that will de-redden it a little bit. So I tried a few greens, I tried a few blues, and then I ended up picking this one, this color combination. And so it's still not perfect, but anyways. And I'm starting to get a better hang of how to use the palette paper, like just laying the colors out in a line, horizontally, vertically, and not being random about where I put things. So, yep. That little golden ball to the side, by the way, is there for measurement purposes, because one of the instructors, when I was asking about how to do proportional measuring more efficiently, they suggested having a little ball-shaped object that you can use as your unit of 1 if you don't have an appropriate unit of 1 object within your still life setup. And that was so genius. That's one of the things about learning, whether it's art or anything else. There are principles, and then there are these little nifty tricks and things that you wouldn't know until you're doing it, and then somebody who's more experienced tells you, oh, you should try this or you should try that, which is why I like Evolve, because you get personal feedback on every single assignment. And then if you have any other questions, you can always email, and there's one-on-ones, video live one-on-ones that you can schedule with instructors. And then there are peers, so you can go hang out in the live homework rooms, and there's almost always somebody in there, and they're often ahead of you, so then you can ask questions, and some of my classmates have been super useful, or have given super useful tips, I mean. Oh, this painting the veins or the white space on the leaves were really, really tricky because I painted the leaves all solid green, and then I tried to do the white on top of it, but the problem with that is the white is kind of translucent, so you can still see the green poking up underneath. So you have to kind of wait for it to dry, and then do another layer, and then wait for it to dry a little, and then do another layer. And if you're impatient, and then also every time you do another layer, there's just more opportunities for that line to come out messy. So in the future, I think it'd be better to just not paint the middle part green. Anyways, and then so here's me filling in the blue, sky blue background, and I really like this color. It's like, this is not robin's egg blue, it's much lighter than that. Sky blue, it's sky blue, I would say. Yeah, and then the tabletop color, which is coming up in a bit, that is, I use always the same piece of construction paper for the bottom because that's what's lining my still life box, but I don't refer to my old notes to pick the color. Well, you probably shouldn't anyways, because the lighting always changes things. As you can see, the different times of day that you paint also affects the way colors look. So I was painting from morning until evening, and for the most, I think it's better to paint during daylight hours because the sunlight is a more natural color. So yeah, so that changes things as well. So even though I use the same paper all the time, I don't copy what I did in previous paintings. I try to remix the color from scratch each time, and so sometimes the mixes are a little different. Always good to practice. Anyways, I was relatively pleased with how this turned out. It was a little bit too complicated for me, I think, but it was worth it, and that's basically it for this assignment 6 of block 3. Remember to create beautiful things, and I'll see you next time. Bye!